YouTube? How's it going? This your boy Degree with Highway Planet. So I'm here to talk to my future truck drivers and give them a little bit of help on how to go about getting your CDL. Also, I want to speak on how to evaluate your school, and the last thing is how to find funding or options on funding for your school. So, with that being said, let's start on requirements. The requirements that are needed to apply for your CDL, you need two forms of identification. That first form of identification is your driver's license. That second form can either be your social security card, or you can also use a passport if need be. You need to provide also proof of residence. Proof of residence can be an electric bill, a gas bill, a water bill, a W-2 form, a voter's registration card. Any of those documents will work. Once you get those two documents, you need to go and holler at your local clinic, to try to get a DOT physical done. A DOT physical is different from your normal physical that you get at a physician's office. It's specially made for federal motor carrier drivers. Outside of that, at the DOT physical, you're going to be required to submit to a drug and alcohol test. When I first did it, they had me do a urine test. Now they might have upgraded where now they're doing hair follicle tests. I'm not really sure, don't quote me on that, but you at least want to give yourself 30 to 60 days before attempting to go do your DOT physical if possible. Once you have your DOT physical done, you're going to get what's called a medical card. That medical card, along with those two forms of identification and that proof of residence, you're going to take that down to your local DMV office. Your local DMV office, you're going to ask for a CDL application, and there's going to be a processing fee. The processing fee varies depending on the state. You have to call your local office to find out, or just go down there in person and speak with a clerk. Once you've actually applied for it and you paid your processing fee, you have the option to take your permit test right then and there, or you can come back later if you want to study. You can come back later, however you want to go about doing it. Your permit test consists of 3 categories. Those categories are general knowledge, air brakes, and combinations. That counts as your permit. Just like when you got your driver's license, when you first got your driver's license, you had to go through a phase of getting your permit, and then you had to actually go test out to have your actual license. That same process applies to when you go get your CDL. You got to take these 3 tests, and they count as your permit. Once you take those 3 tests, you can apply to attempt to go take your driver's test with a truck. But most companies or most places now, I believe, want you to go to school. So if you're trying to find a school as far as to learn how to drive a semi-truck, you want to look at certain things. You want to look at the length of the school. The length of the school should be about 3 weeks, no less than 3 weeks. If it says it's 2 weeks or 1 week, stay away from those schools, because you cannot get the proper training, in my opinion, to drive these trucks within that period of time, or to be even proficient enough to be able to pass your exam at the end of that school. You want to look at the cost of it. If cost is an issue for you, I personally will not pay no more than $7,000 to go to school. I try to keep it within $5,000 to $7,000. When I first started trucking years ago, the schooling was like $5,000, I believe. If you have an issue with the cost, check around to other states. Other states down south from up north. Up north is a little bit more expensive from what I understand, but states down south tend to be a little bit more cheaper when it comes to these courses. You can go down south, take that course, take that school, and then take your license and go right back up there to transfer it over to the state that you live in. Outside of that, you also want to look at the training. Go on these schools' Facebooks Go on their websites, go up to those schools. Ask these students at this school, how is their training? Are they getting that quality time? You want to make sure their classroom is no bigger than about 15 people at one time in a classroom if you're going to be in that class with them, because anything over that size, you are not going to get the quality time that you need behind that wheel. So be very selective when you come to choosing your school. You're investing your money into that school, so therefore you want to make sure you get the proper training to be able to pass your CDL, so therefore you ain't wasting money, you ain't wasting time. You can get out there and start making money as soon as you get your CDL, and you making bankroll, baby. You know what I'm saying? Well, I ain't gonna say that. Your first year is not so high, but after that, you're making bankroll, baby. You know what I'm saying? Locations, make sure they also have the job opportunities. Some schools don't provide job transitions. You need that. Find your school that's going to have a job transition, job opportunities to help transition you into a career to get started, so that you're not wasting time. Options on your funding. If you need options on funding, go to your local career center. Your local career center often provides loans and grants. If you go to your local career center, you will not be stuck with going with a particular company. If you don't want to go that option and you don't want to get a loan or you don't want to get a grant, you can also check with trucking companies, and trucking companies out here will pay for your schooling so long as you work with them after you graduate from that school. I have a list of trucking companies I'm about to give to you right now, so make sure you have a pen and paper to write this down real fast. Alright, you got a pen and paper? Good, cool. Alright, so number 1 is Swift Transportation. Number 2 is Night Transportation. Number 3 is PAM Transports. Number 4 is FFE Transportations. Number 5 is Rail Transportations. Number 6 is US Trucks. Number 7 is Stephen Transports. Number 8 is Night Transportations. And number 9 is CR England. And number 10 is Prime Transportations. Check those companies out. Google them, get their information, get their numbers, call those companies. They will pay for your school as long as you agree to stay with them for a period of time. Speak with that individual company to find out what's the obligations. Outside of that, man, be blessed. I hope your future career goes well. This your boy Degree with Highway Planet. And remember, the road to success starts with a good plan. Peace.